funny. Do you remember in the 2019 Aladdin remake where they were trying to make Jasmine a leader and strong, independent who wanted to be the Sultan? Yes, it sucked. Really, really, really sucked. However, from watching Once Upon a Time, this is the Jasmine I think they were trying to be. But not just that, but also twisted Aladdin's character and actually had a good Jafar, period. The story starts off familiar with Aladdin being a thief and Jasmine disguised in the streets of Agrabah. Only this time, Jasmine reveals herself to Aladdin that she is the princess, and that she needs his help, knowing he's the best thief around. At first he refuses, but she pretends he stole from her, in which he begrudgingly agrees. She tells him about the Cave of Wonders and that a weapon known as the Diamond in the Rough can help defeat Jafar. Jafar in this version is still the royal vizier, but has placed a spell over the Sultan, therefore taking control and turning any thieves he finds into literal street rats. On their journey towards the cave, Aladdin talks about the treasures he can get his hands on, which Jasmine states that this is no time to be self-centered, as Agrabah is falling. This prompts Aladdin to say that her people have been suffering well before Jafar came along. She only started to care and do something now because it was affecting her father. Realising he might have made a step too far, he offers her an apple. First spark of their relationship. They enter the cave and see a diamond in which Aladdin reenacts the Raiders of the Lost Ark scene with a monkey statue, but the diamond crumbles and the cave starts quaking. Suddenly, Aladdin, without knowing, uses magic to save Jasmine from a falling pillar. The princess reveals that it is Aladdin himself who is the diamond in the rough and the saviour who can save Agrabah. Of course, being in complete shock, Aladdin asks to be alone, in which he is confronted by Jafar. He tries to get into Aladdin's head, saying all saviours will die unless they change their fate. He offers him a pair of shears to cut his fate. These are probably the same shears we've seen in the movie Hercules. However, before leaving Aladdin alone, Jasmine gave him a royal scarab of Agrabah, a royal heirloom, as proof of her belief in him. Back at the palace, Jasmine tries to get her father to safety, but Jafar appears and traps her in an hourglass. Sound familiar? Thankfully, Aladdin decides to be the saviour, and arrives on a magic carpet from the cave and uses magic to break Jafar's staff, and the spell on the Sultan is broken. Aladdin decides to pursue Jafar at the Eastern Province and asks Jasmine to come with him. Despite their developing feelings they have for each other, she stays behind, stating her duty is to her kingdom. During this journey, Aladdin starts developing hand trauma, a result of being a saviour, in which he takes refuge in the desert with an oracle. Unfortunately, Jafar finds him and taunts his weakened state and that he will never have a happy ending, but leaves him, saying it's better to leave him in such pain. Aladdin is finally tempted and uses the shears to cut his fate, so he is no longer the saviour and flees to the enchanted forest. Back in Agrabah, the Sultan is persuading potential princes to marry his daughter, but of course Jasmine downright refuses as she wishes to marry for love. The Sultan tells her a marriage would provide the kingdom with an army, in which Jasmine replies that they need a hero like Aladdin. But Jafar intervenes and threatens the princes by turning one of them into a staff. He gives Jasmine a deal that if she marries him, he won't destroy Agrabah for good, and gives her until sundown to decide. Desperate to find Aladdin, Jasmine sneaks into the marketplace but instead finds Ariel, who is searching for Eric. Believing Eric might help with an army after bringing back his loved one, she decides to help, and the two ride on the magic carpet and finds his caravan flag. Unfortunately, Eric turns out to be Jafar in disguise and teleports Ariel back to the sea and pressures Jasmine to marry him. Left with no other option, she gives him the ring, but Jafar uses it to trap the entire kingdom and everyone there inside the diamond. Believing Aladdin is her only hope, Jasmine stops at nothing to try to find him. Now you might be thinking, where does the genie come in all of this? Well, there is a genie, but not quite the way you would think. Still, these versions of Aladdin and Jasmine is an interesting take, and like I said, it was probably what the remake was trying to do, but failed miserably. This Jasmine shows her love and devotion to her kingdom, but still sticks to her values. Aladdin's story doesn't end here, not just yet, but that will be shown after the Dark Curse, and we'll see if they can save Agrabah and win each other's hearts in a whole new world that is Storybrooke.